Hello again, friends. For those of you all who are just joining here in our worship space, my name is Taqiyyah. I use she, her pronouns, and I have the pleasure of bringing a word for today. But before I jump in, I want to make some acknowledgments. I want to shout out my spirit team, that's God, my well and wise ancestors who enter every room with me wherever I go. To Gail. Gail is the first person I met here at Fun when I was interested, and to this being my first time having a sermon here within the UU Fellowship, to have Gail as the Worship Associate for Service has been amazing. She's wise, she's funny, and clearly very flexible, so I just want to send you lots of love. To my family and friends supporting near and far, who have embraced my journey and transitioned to becoming a Unitarian Universalist, because that ain't too common for a Black Southern girl, okay? And certainly, lastly, but not least, my partner, Bridget, who understands my vocational calling, who knows my spiritual groans and moans, and has been one of my greatest supporters as I continually become. You are light and divine energy, and I am always grateful for you. So with that being said, we don't have to belabor too long. I'd like us to enter in with a moment of prayer. So however you posture to commune with the divine, the cosmos, and or simply the spirit or energy within you, take that posture with me. Living God who holds many names, exemplifies many things, and exists in many ways. As I bring forth a word today, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be an acceptable light unto every spirit experiencing this message today. May it teach them, lead them, guide them, change them, grow them, and most of all, just bless them. In your many wonderful names I pray, amen and ashe. In reflecting on our theme for this month, pluralism, I wrestled with where to come from. I thought about who I am and what does pluralism have to do with me. I thought about the season I'm in and what's going on in the world today, and it led me to the words of a Black girl by the name of Lauren Olamina. She says, as Gail has already read for us, embrace diversity, unite or be divided, robbed, ruled, killed by those who you see as prey. Embrace diversity or be destroyed. These words come from Lauren Olamina's sacred text called Earthseed, the Book of the Living. She wrote this in search for her new life, new community that could hold the complexities and diversities of humanity in the midst of life's ebbs and flows. And to be clear, Lauren Olamina is a character in Octavia Butler's speculative fiction Parable of the Sower. And it was written in 1993, but Butler set it in the years of 2024, 2025, and 2026. Oh, the irony. A post-apocalyptic earth due to a disregard for the climate and social injustices, exposing what happens when we don't value difference, when we don't value humanity. We are divided, fractured in times of crises, and society and climates collapse with irreversible effects. Now, while this text is considered a fiction, I understand this text to be a sacred one, a clarion call to pay attention to how we care for, love on, treat humanity. I understand Lauren to be real, a human expression, a representation of the many human experiences trying to navigate life, and her religion, Earthseed, to be very real, as it reflects spaces like the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship and knows and believes that there are multiple sources to the divine, the universe, and that we are surely interdependent upon each other. Parable of the Sower and Lauren remind me and us of the necessity of building and uniting over our differences to survive and thrive in life, and uniting against those who disregard the dignity of humanity, just like Lauren and the Earthseed community did in search for a new way of living and being. Now, see, we know all too well the realities of Lauren's experiences because we see the evils and ills now in a quote-unquote democratic state that repeals gender-affirming care and Roe v. Wade, a government that aids in the genocide of children and families and people in Gaza, a society that has yet to realize the detriment of climate change. A Supreme Court that has decided to disregard Trump's felony convictions, yet for everyday people, applications inquire if you're a felon, impacting your opportunity for housing, voting, a job. And a Supreme Court that has determined the criminalizations of humans experiencing homelessness legal. And yet, we're committed to justice and action to see a new way of living and being, and unfortunately, It's very evident. The society we live in has a blatant disregard for difference, for the efforts of pluralism. The society we live in basically says you need to own property, participate in whiteness, be male, uphold capitalism, patriarchy, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, ageism. I mean, all the isms. It seems like a tale as old as time. And while there are persistent efforts to destroy difference, it never really works. And we see that in the bodies of people who exist beyond the binary, people who protest and lobby against oppressive forces, because it isn't reflective of the dynamic nature of the divine's creation. And when we decide to resist, advocate, protest, lobby, create services that tend to the many differences of humanity, we're simply painstakingly screaming, our voices, our difference, our humanity is not being heard. Creation is not being valued. All the while, we still make efforts and aims to change systems, structures, institutions, policies. But do we often stop to sit and ask ourselves, what's at the root of all of these things, these systemic evils and social policies and ills? And it dawned on me, it's the people. It's a collection of individuals wielding their privilege and power to snuff out, silence, and or destroy difference. It's the people that require transformation for the systems and structures to change. We must individually and collectively value pluralism, difference, not just in our word, but in our everyday practice. And so then it makes sense why Lauren didn't tell us to embrace systems, because she was experiencing the failings of systems ran on power, hierarchy, greed, profit, exploitation. It's why she said embrace diversity and unite. She was talking to everyday people like her, like you and me, who negotiate the ebbs and flows of life. And it's not just race, gender, sexuality, abilities, or religious views, but the way we distinctively express and embody our individuality, who we are beyond the socially prescribed labels that are given to us. I mean, truly, who are you? And how would you define yourself if there weren't so many boxes and you were free to be as different as you wanted to be? Who are you? Lauren was calling us to tend to the full life force of humanity, the expansive, diverse nature of the world around us by building bridges across our differences and the changing force of the universe. See, in my sitting down and reflecting with Lauren, it brought me to the individual. Who are we within and beyond the labels? And how do you and I deal with differences behind closed doors, when nobody else is watching, the public spotlight isn't on, when the risk and responsibility seem so low, especially when you're in the comfort of yourself or in the company of a trusted few? Are you truly integritous to pluralism, to the dynamic nature of human creation, of life itself? Or do you slip into the comfort of the status quo and what's considered the norm? See, my father used to say something to me and my siblings, it's the small things that lead to the big things. If you can handle the small things, you can handle the big things. Now, at the time, very annoying and very nagging, right? But that's parents, right? But I'm starting to get what he meant. It is these small, seemingly trivial differences that show up in our everyday that we overlook, we discount it, we tolerate it maybe, we ignore it, we try to erase it, that we don't give difference its dignified due, a response of curiosity, of love, of exploration. And when we fail to do that, we unknowingly play into the very systems we're trying to dismantle or transform. See, it's up to us. We're the soil and the seed that must nourish our individual and collective differences. Y'all probably like, Taqiyyah, what you talking about? You see, difference is hard to pin down when we're all so vivaciously and energetically different. So maybe let me offer you some questions. What do you do when someone doesn't look like you, don't talk like you, don't dress like you, don't live like you? Again, when no one else is watching, not when everybody's around. What do you do when your child or children decide that they want to carve out their own path instead of the one that you imagine for them or society deems appropriate? What are you thinking? For our thoughts have the potential to lead to action and deed. What do you do when someone or something challenges your norm, your viewpoints, or your beliefs? What's your knee-jerk response? Or maybe it's just, what about you? When you look in the mirror, Do you count your differences as blessings, as gifts? Do you tell your differences, I love you? Do you get curious about and build connections with your differences and find yourself becoming curious about other people's differences? Because surely I'm not the only one who's different. How are you engaging, embracing, exploring your difference? And is your approach grounded in love? See, in the matters of difference, tolerance, it just won't do, because it's not the same as acceptance, and it's not always grounded in love. See, ignoring it or hoping it'll go away or staying secluded to a few people surely isn't love, for a part of love is a choice to see, acknowledge, accept, journey with, celebrate. And surely it's not to harm, destroy, dominate, right? That's the furthest thing from love. Bell Hooks tells us in All About Love, love can't exist amid domination and coercion. Because see, love is committed to uplift, to heal, to build, and transform. So I guess I'm just simply asking you, are you loving all of you to be able to love somebody else? Where is the love in how you engage with your difference? See, Bell Hooks says when we can see ourselves as we truly are and accept ourselves, we build the necessary foundation for self-love. And maybe I'm just offering that self-love is a critical ingredient to a healthy, interdependent community. See, are you willing to love how people embody difference and then dare someone else to do the same? Love is a powerful thing. And when we embrace difference, we are enacting the power of love. Now, I want to make a clear caveat, friends. I stand with Bell Hooks and many others who understands that love, domination, abuse, violence cannot coexist with love. So this reflection doesn't condone using your differences to defile, harm, polarize, or oppress. And unfortunately, it's how we often see differences used and manipulated on larger scales and maybe in the privacy of your home, I don't know. Yet, at the end of the day, it's all wielded by individuals who clearly have not come to understand the divine act of love. And in my reflection and in my realization, it came to me that it's our individual, everyday choices that add up to speak to what we truly value, what we love. You see, it's the small things. Can you handle the small things of difference in your everyday to really be able to handle the big things of difference? I'd hope that loving difference is high on your value list and a common practice, because how can you love my difference, and not just the most visible ones, friends, and then build with me if you don't value the differences of you, and vice versa? We, you, we need the unique, divine, cosmological, holy spark that makes us who we are. And or maybe it's even that thing you don't feel is special, but it is. Or maybe you don't want anybody else to see or know about it. And yet, I'm telling you, it's that very thing that could free you and me. See, growing up in church, we used to sing this song. I need you, you need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me, agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. There's some other words in there, but we end with, you are important to me. I need you to survive. See, and when we would sing it, we would hold hands. Sometimes people would be swaying, crying, but you could see in spirit and in image, a collection of bodies. See, we never sang half of you or part of you. It was just you. It was all of you. I need all of your differences. You need all of my differences if we're going to survive, to set the captives free. If we're going to be each other's harvest, we need to value difference in an individual and an interdependent kind of way. See, differences move us forward. It keeps us fresh. It keeps us new. It keeps us innovative. It responds to the changing nature of God, the universe, of you and me. So all I'm really saying, y'all, it's a love thing at the root of all of this. A love thing with yourself and with others. Now, Tina Turner asked us what's love got to do with it, and she said it's nothing but a secondhand emotion, and what a song it is. But love isn't just an emotion as a Unitarian Universalist. It's a choice. It's an intentional choice, a central choice in our values, a choice that should always be at the fore when engaging with humanity. And see, love and loving differences starts with you and me. In the comfort of our home, behind closed doors, in the seeds of our thoughts, in the mundanity of our behavior, in how we treat the unknown, the unfamiliar, when no one else is watching. See, and as I head to my seat, I pray that each of us, you and me, tend to the soil and seed of our differences daily and often. May you water yourself with grace, compassion, empathy, self-acceptance, trust, bravery, justice, accountability, but most of all, just some good old radical love, y'all. And when watering isn't easy, because listen, it's not always easy. There are drought days. May you turn to the gardens around you with hopes that they are being responsible and nourishing their soils of difference so that you may see that you're not alone and that every bit of creation grows and develops differently. And then when your springtime season comes and blooming is in full effect, may you join in the circle of life, transferring your seeds of love that more varieties of gardens can flourish in their difference. Y'all, we need difference. We need it. Lauren Olamina told us you got to embrace diversity. Unite. Because if you don't, we'll be divided, robbed, ruled, killed by those who we see as prey. Embrace diversity or be destroyed. It's a love thing, y'all. Because love is a life-giving force, a communal force, a transformative force, and it's never destructive. I hope y'all are nourishing and loving on your differences. May this word bless you. Amen and ashe.